Hello everyone! Today I'm going to showcase a brilliant strategy in War of Thought. In the epic battle to come as both sides move their reserve troops into cities, a strategy that features trading space for terrain, trading front line for an entire reserve army, and most importantly, trading order for chaos. So the strategy works like this. I, commanding the blue army, will retreat chosen sections of the line and put them into wedge formations. The gap will be tempting to attack, but will be extremely dangerous to attack due to my zone of control as cities to threaten encirclements. Now, I mobile reserve units out of enemy view due to the fog of war to concentrate at any vulnerable part of enemy line or anywhere else necessary, and have an unreasonably quick troop cycling speed compared to the traditional strategy to cycle reserves from cities. I also decided to rotate my tanks to the south, as they are stronger and more mobile on plain and hill terrain. Tank units are stronger than infantry units, but their slow speed makes them more vulnerable to encirclements and hard to cycle out when damaged. At this moment, I'm ready to set a brutal trap. So I began to retreat my north closer to my city, inviting an attack. Here, I'm leaving one tank unit to guard the strip of plain terrain in the north. Then the other two tank units up north will be sent to the south to guard their flank before I retreat my center. In the meantime, I can move my extra reserves to protect my cities and generate a potentially stronger economy than my opponent. The gaps in the line in this strategy will further emphasize city defense, as a city snipe can be game over and I can surrender if that happens. Now the fun part begins as I withdraw my center into the wedge formation. Red now sees the opportunity to attack me north with their local numerical advantage, as they are unable to see my reserve lines through the fog of war, of course. My uneven battle line successfully blocks the enemy charge, as the irregular formation makes it a lot harder for red to cycle and maneuver the troops effectively. But the red numerical superiority still deals extra damage and pushes me back. I started the counterattack by charging my wedge formation towards the exposed red flank, while the red center is unable to participate in the battle. The red tanks bogged down in forest has same amount of attack power as infantry and will struggle to retreat. Here, I decided to aggressively cycle the fresh troops from the center into the north, while the overextended red north is unable to be reinforced by their own fresh center without giving opportunity to encircle. This essentially means the red north is locally outnumbered nearly 2-1, and the injured blue units cycled off will be able to heal, regain morale, and rejoin the battle. As the balance of power shifts in the north, the battered blue units are healing rapidly, while the red units are breaking under the weight of the attack. My troop cycling was a bit clumsy, as I'm not a top player of this game, but the local numerical advantage definitely allows me to get away with that. Red sends a tank unit to punish my infantry that push too close to the plane. But the solution to that is just to withdraw back to the forest terrain, rotate north, and the tank unit can only do minimal damage if it chases me into the forest. Now we can see how Red North is totally falling apart and struggling to retreat as I close in on the flanks. As the Red North keeps crumbling, I chose not to go for flank attacks to give Red an opportunity to turn the game around when I overextend. The Red Center is still fresh and scary, and I prefer to keep them out of the battle for now. As the situation deteriorates for Red on the north, the center is sent to the battle to desperately turn the game around. Red Center joins the battle, but on my terms. A simple double pincer maneuver with an inferior troop count managed to surround the overextended Red Center, destroying their entire center while taking minimal casualties. The stranded Red Center is now unable to escape. From here on, the situation turned from bad to absolutely hopeless for Red, as I clean up the Red North with my extra troops, leading to huge amounts of encirclements, and slowly clears out Red resistance before slowly encroaching on the city. A few closing remarks as the carnage unfolds. This strategy seems to work best on open grounds, where there are minimal mountains and rivers to hinder the mobility of infantry units. Utilizing this strategy in War of Dots will be great for setting traps, fighting on your terms, and pulling off fancy maneuvers to encircle. However, if the map is closed, then the strategy will not work as well, as mountains and rivers are strong anchor points to prevent flanking shenanigans, making tanks more effective than infantry. Finally, I regroup my disorganized army back to a wedge formation to prepare a final assault to clean it up. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, as that will mean a lot for a small content creator like me.